Here's the truth. AI isn't coming for your job, your refusal to adapt is. Every time a new tool shows up, electricity, the internet, the smartphone, people panic. They say, this will destroy industries, this will eliminate jobs, this will ruin everything. But here's the pattern: the people who adapt win, and the people who resist get left behind. AI isn't the enemy, AI is leverage. It's the same as hiring 10 employees who work 24/7 for free, don't complain, and execute instantly. The problem is most people won't touch it. They'll say, it's too complicated, I don't get it, I'll figure it out later. And that's exactly why they'll get replaced. What separates the winners and losers here isn't intelligence, it's willingness. Willingness to learn, experiment, and fail fast. The same people who laughed at online businesses are the same people who now work for them. The same people who said social media was a fad are now begging for attention on it. So here's the uncomfortable reality: ignoring AI isn't safe, it's reckless. If you're an entrepreneur, it means your competitors will outpace you because they can ship faster, market smarter, and operate leaner. If you're an employee, it means you'll be doing in 40 hours what someone with AI can do in 4. And who do you think gets promoted in that situation? Here's the opportunity. You don't need to be a coder, you don't need to be a tech genius. You just need to be curious enough to press the buttons. Because the future belongs to the people who leverage the tools, not the ones who sit back and hope it goes away. Here's the thing: most people still think success is about working harder. They brag about 60-hour weeks, pulling all-nighters, grinding. But let me tell you something uncomfortable. You can work harder than everyone else in the room and still lose. Why? Because hard work without leverage is just sweat, and sweat doesn't scale. Leverage is what actually multiplies effort. It's the reason one entrepreneur builds $1 billion company while another one, working just as hard, can't crack 6 figures. The difference isn't effort, it's leverage, and right now AI is the biggest source of free leverage you will ever see in your lifetime. Think about this. If I hire one employee, I pay them a salary, I train them, I manage them, that's cost. That's time, that's overhead. But AI, it's like hiring 10 employees who never sleep, never take vacation, don't complain, and execute in seconds. It's like cloning your best operator and multiplying them by 100 for free or close to it. Let me give you an example. There's a copywriter who can write 3 ad variations in a day, great, but the person who uses AI can generate 300 variations in 30 minutes, test them, and pick the winners instantly. Same job, same goal, but one is operating with a jet engine while the other is pedaling a bicycle. Who do you think wins in that scenario? Here's the mindset shift. Stop thinking of AI as a threat and start thinking of it as a tool. A hammer doesn't replace a carpenter, it just makes him faster, more precise, more capable. AI is the same thing, it amplifies your skills. But here's the mistake most people make. They say, I'll just stick to what I know, I'll wait until it's more stable. And while they're waiting, their competitors are stacking leverage, outproducing them, and taking market share. Leverage is the difference between being busy and being effective. It's the difference between a freelancer charging $30 an hour and an agency owner running $1 million operation. Both are working, both are talented, but one uses leverage, systems, tools, people, capital, and the other doesn't. So here's what you do: audit your work. Write down every repetitive task you do daily. Emails, notes, research, planning. Ask, can I do this faster? 90% of the time, the answer is yes. Implement immediately. Don't overthink it. Just try the tool, run the experiment, and improve from there. The goal isn't to replace you, the goal is to amplify you. To make you 10 times faster, sharper, and more effective. That's what leverage is. That's what AI gives you. Bottom line, leverage beats labor every single time. If you're still competing on effort alone, you're already behind. The winners are the ones who take their effort, stack leverage on top of it, and scale so fast the competition doesn't even know what happened. Here's the truth: the market doesn't reward the smartest, it doesn't reward the most creative, it doesn't even reward the hardest worker, it rewards the fastest. Period. Speed is everything. Why? Because the faster you move, the more shots you take. The more shots you take, the faster you learn. And the faster you learn, the sooner you win. That's the entire game. Most people overthink. They wait for the perfect plan. They obsess over details no one cares about. And while they're tweaking and polishing, their competitor already launched, tested, failed, adjusted, and relaunched, and now owns the market. That's how businesses die, not because the idea was bad, but because they moved too slow. Let me give you a real example. Look at Netflix versus Blockbuster. Blockbuster had all the money, all the stores, all the customers. But they moved slow. Netflix moved fast. They saw streaming coming, they acted, and by the time Blockbuster tried to pivot, the game was already over. That's what speed does. It turns giants into fossils. Here's another one. In digital marketing, I know agencies that take 3 weeks to deliver one campaign to a client. Guess what? Their competition is using AI to create and launch campaigns in 3 days. Who wins? The one who moves faster because they get feedback, data, and results before anyone else. So, how do you apply this? Ship before it's perfect. Perfection is procrastination in disguise. Launch it, get feedback, and improve. Cut decision time in half. If it takes you a week to make a choice, make it in 3 days. If it takes you 3 days, make it in 1. Speed of decision equals speed of execution. Use tools that compress time. That's where AI comes in. Instead of spending 10 hours writing, you spend 30 minutes prompting. That's speed. That's leverage. Now here's the mindset shift. Every day you wait, the market doesn't stand still. It moves. Your customer's attention shifts. Your competitors act, and opportunities expire. You don't get paid for what you could have done. You get paid for what you actually put out into the world. The mistake most people make is confusing motion with progress. They think because they're working, they're moving fast. No, if your work doesn't hit the market, you're standing still. Drafts in your Google Drive don't make money. Ideas in your notebook don't build empires. Action does, and let's be real, speed creates confidence. Every time you ship something, even if it fails, you learn. That knowledge compounds. Meanwhile, the slow movers are still stuck on version 1, paralyzed by fear. Bottom line, speed wins markets. If you're fast, you don't need to be perfect. You'll iterate your way into dominance. But if you're slow, even the best idea in the world won't save you. The people who win are not the ones who waited, they're the ones who moved first, moved fast, and refused to stop. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Nobody cares about your title. Nobody cares about your resume. The market doesn't pay for your degree, your position, or your seniority. The market pays for one thing, the skills you bring to the table that solve real problems. And this is where people get blindsided. They think, I'm safe because I've been a manager for 10 years. I'm safe because I'm the director of X. I'm safe because I went to a good school. Wrong. Titles don't protect you. The only thing that protects you is your ability to create value in the marketplace. Think about it. 10 years ago, social media manager wasn't even a job. Today, some of them are making 6 figures. Meanwhile, people with traditional titles, project manager, operations assistant, are being automated, outsourced, or ignored. Why? Because the skill set attached to those roles is replaceable. The title doesn't matter. The skills do. Let me give you a business example. I know a guy who was a VP of marketing at a big company, fancy title, right? But when the company cut costs, guess what? He was gone. Because when it came down to it, he couldn't run ads, couldn't build funnels, couldn't create content himself. His title had protected him until it didn't. Meanwhile, the freelancer who could actually drive sales through Facebook ads. He got 5 new clients in a week. No title, just skills. Here's the mindset shift. Skills are portable. Titles are not. You can lose a job, but you can't lose the skill of closing deals, building offers, writing copy, or coding software. That stuff compounds, it travels with you wherever you go. Now, let's talk action steps. Audit your skills. Ask yourself, if I lost my job tomorrow, what can I actually do that someone would pay for immediately? If the answer is, manage people, be careful, because AI and systems are replacing management functions every day. Prioritize revenue, driving skills, sales, marketing, persuasion, content creation, coding, design, systems building. Those are skills the market values now. Use AI to upgrade faster. You can learn in months what used to take years. Instead of reading 20 books on copywriting, study 10 top ads, feed them into AI, and practice. Speed skill stacking is how you stay irreplaceable. The biggest mistake: believing security comes from your employer or your title. That's a lie. Security comes from your competence. If you can produce value, you'll never be out of work. Period. Bottom line, don't chase titles, chase skills. Because in a world where technology is automating tasks left and right, the only thing that stands between you and being obsolete is what you can actually do. Titles can disappear overnight, skills compound forever. Here's the cold reality: ignoring AI doesn't keep you safe, it makes you obsolete. Most people think, if I just keep my head down and keep doing what I've always done, I'll be fine. No, you won't. Because the world doesn't freeze for your comfort. The market doesn't slow down because you're scared. The second you stop adapting, you start falling behind. Look, every major shift in history proves this. When the internet came out, some businesses said, "We don't need a website. We've been fine for 30 years. 10 years later, they were gone. When social media exploded, companies said, "That's for kids. We'll stick to billboards." Now they're irrelevant. The same thing is happening right now with AI. The danger isn't that AI replaces you tomorrow. The danger is that the people who embrace it get so far ahead that you can't catch up. Imagine two entrepreneurs. One spends 40 hours a week writing proposals, sending emails, doing research. The other spends 4 hours a week because AI automates all of it. Who do you think is going to close more deals, launch more offers, and dominate the market? The guy with more time leverage. I'll give you a real example. I know a consultant who used to take 2 weeks to produce client reports. After AI, he delivers them in 2 days. Same price, same quality, faster turnaround. His clients love him. His competition, they're losing contracts because they can't keep up. They're not bad consultants, they're just slow. And in business, slow equals dead. Here's the mindset shift: ignoring AI isn't neutral, it's negative. It's like refusing to use email because you like fax machines. It's like saying, "I don't need a car, I'll stick to my horse." That doesn't just keep you the same, it makes you worse compared to the people who adapt. So, what do? Face the fear head on. Most people ignore AI because they don't understand it. That's fine. You don't need to understand everything. You just need to start. Adopt before you're ready. Don't wait for perfect timing. There isn't one. The earlier you start, the faster you learn. Stack small wins. Use AI for one thing today: emails, notes. Summaries, then expand. Momentum compounds. The mistake most people make is thinking adoption is optional. It's not. In 5 years, it'll be as standard as Google or email. And those who ignored it, they'll be the ones complaining that the industry changed, or younger people took their jobs. No, they got replaced because they refused to adapt. Bottom line, you don't get punished for experimenting with AI. You get punished for ignoring it. Because the people who move now will set the new standard, and everyone else will be stuck playing catch-up if they even survive. Here's the thing: people think money is the currency that matters most. It's not. In today's world, the most valuable currency you can have is curiosity. Why? Because curiosity drives learning, and learning drives leverage. And in a world changing this fast, the people who stop learning instantly fall behind. Most people lose because they think they're done. They graduate, get a job, get a title, and then stop asking questions. They stop exploring. They stop testing. And then, one day, they wake up and the game has changed. But they're playing by rules that don't matter anymore. Curiosity is the opposite of that. Curiosity says, what happens if I try this? What if I test this tool? What if I push this boundary? And here's why that matters. The market rewards people who figure out new, faster, smarter ways of doing things. And you only find those ways if you're curious enough to look. Let me give you an example. I know two business owners in the same industry. One runs his company the same way he has for 15 years. Same software, same marketing, same pitch. The other one is constantly experimenting. New platforms, new AI tools, new funnels. Guess who's growing? Not the guy sticking to what works. It's the one who keeps testing. Why? Because curiosity compounds. Every experiment builds a skill, and every skill adds leverage. Here's the mindset shift. Curiosity is a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. Most people think curiosity is about being playful. No, curiosity is survival. Because when the world changes, and it will, the curious adapt first. So, how do you train it? Ask what if every day. What if I did this differently? What if I tried this tool? What if I cut this step in half? Play with the tools. Don't wait for a manual. Don't wait for a course. Open the software, push buttons, break things. That's how you learn. Reward experimentation. If you're a leader, praise people for trying new things, even if they fail. The culture of curiosity becomes a culture of speed and innovation. The mistake most people make is thinking they need certainty before action. Curiosity doesn't need certainty. Curiosity thrives on not knowing. It thrives on testing, failing, and learning. That's why the most successful entrepreneurs in the world are also the most curious. They're obsessed with what's possible, not just what's proven. Bottom line, curiosity is the new currency. It buys you adaptability. It buys you innovation. It buys you resilience when everyone else is stuck. If you want to protect yourself in the AI era, or any era, stop clinging to what you know and start obsessing over what you don't. Because the person asking the most questions will always find the answers first. Here's the reality. Fear kills more businesses and careers than failure ever will. Most people don't fail because they tried and lost. They fail because they never tried at all. They let fear paralyze them. Fear of looking stupid. Fear of making mistakes. Fear of being wrong. And while they're sitting there in fear, the people who adapt are eating their lunch. Look, fear is natural. Every time the world changes, fear kicks in. The printing press, electricity. The internet, social media, now AI. Every shift feels like the end of the world. But history is clear, it's not the end. It's the beginning of a bigger game. And the ones who win are the ones who adapt faster than their fear. Let me give you an example. Kodak invented the digital camera, but they buried it. Why? Fear. They were afraid it would kill their film business. Guess what? They ignored reality, didn't adapt, and ended up bankrupt. Same with Toys R Us. They saw e-commerce coming, but fear of change froze them. Amazon didn't hesitate. Amazon adapted. Who's alive today? Here's the mindset shift. Fear is a signal, not a stop sign. It's telling you where the opportunity is. If something scares you, it means it's new, it's powerful, and it has potential. Instead of running from it, lean in. So how do you adapt when fear shows up? Act before you feel ready. Waiting for fear to disappear is a losing strategy. Fear only fades after you move. Shrink the risk. You don't need to overhaul your entire business overnight. Start with one process, one tool, one experiment. Win small, then stack. Measure learning, not perfection. The goal isn't to be flawless. The goal is to learn faster than the competition. Every failure is tuition for the future. The mistake most people make, they think playing it safe protects them. But safety is an illusion. By the time you think it's safe to move, the early adopters have already taken the market. Playing it safe is just a slower way to lose. Here's the bottom line. Adaptation beats fear every single time. Fear holds you in place. Adaptation moves you forward, and the market only rewards movement. You don't have to be fearless. You just have to act while afraid. That's what every successful entrepreneur has done. They felt the same fear you feel, but they adapted anyway. So if you want to thrive in this new era, stop asking, what if it goes wrong? And start asking, what if I don't adapt at all? Because the truth is, not adapting is the only guaranteed way to lose. So here's the deal. AI isn't here to take your job, your business, or your life away. It's here to hand you the biggest advantage of this decade, if you adapt. We just walked through it. Leverage beats labor, speed wins markets, skills matter more than titles, ignore it and you're gone, curiosity pays, and adaptation crushes fear. But none of that matters if you leave this video and do nothing. The people who win aren't the ones who understand. They're the ones who implement. Back and index pointing right, so here's your next step. Pick one area of your life or business where you can plug AI in today, not tomorrow, not next week. Today, send an email faster, write a proposal, automate a task. I don't care what it is. Just move. Because the sooner you start, the sooner you stack wins, and those wins compound. That's how you pull ahead while everyone else is still stuck debating whether it's safe. If you found this valuable, do two things right now. Subscribe because I'm dropping tactical, fluff content every week to help you build, grow, and scale. Drop a comment, tell me the one area where you're going to use AI starting today.